kind of comparing it to the Philippines, and you know, why is it here for the same quality you get so much more? I think another big part of it too is the heavy Muslim influence here. So and it seems like every country I go to, Chinese do really well. They're always in business. They're always at the upper echelon economically. Malaysia has one of the cheapest gas in the whole world right now. So ladies and gentlemen, we're back in the streets of Kuala Lumpur. We've been in them, but we're cruising through the suburbs essentially. This area, I've been trying to find this. It's Jaling, something like PJ they call it. I forgot the name. I'll put it in the screen here. And it's a suburb of Kuala Lumpur. And I don't know if it's a Chinese neighborhood. I think it might be, but it's a nice neighborhood. Everything's real open, developed. Anyways, one of the things that I've always been wondering, I'm like, why is Malaysia so much more developed and efficient and affordable, even in a lot of instances, especially for the quality you get here, than other countries in Southeast Asia? It's been fascinating to me. I actually looked up some stuff on it because I had to know, you know. And one of the things was they said the geography, it's protected from volcanoes just to their neighbor south, which is right here, Indonesia. It's right on the Australian fault line, I think. But it's just, that's why it has the most volcanoes. There's tons of volcanoes, earthquakes, tsunamis, hurricanes, typhoons. Supposedly, Malaysia is pretty much protected from all that. With the land masses that are around here, they pretty much are secure from all that. And supposedly that's a major thing, which makes sense because in major storms, you know, they have billions of dollars worth of damage, and these kind of economies here have a hard time rebuilding from that. And I'm sure with corruption and all kinds of stuff, a lot of stuff doesn't get done. But again, it's just fascinating, you know? I was kind of talking here and was just kind of comparing it to the Philippines, and you know, why is it here for the same quality you get so much more? For the same quality you get so much more for so much less, you know, or for the same quality it's so much less. I don't know why, you know. And so I know they do a ton of development here. I don't know if it's the Chinese roots, you know, to be honest, because it seems like wherever the Chinese are, they do really well. Chinese Americans, I'm from America, they're one of the top minorities or whatever you could say in the country. So and it seems like every country I go to, Chinese do really well. They're always in business. They're always at the upper echelon, you know, economically. And I think this is a Chinese neighborhood, and just look how beautiful it is. Look at the trees that they have. They maintain and manicure everything. It's really nice. Yeah, so for instance, I was in Cebu lately, and Cebu is just, I mean, for any kind of quality, you're paying what you would maybe get almost double for here. No exaggeration. And even then, it's just things will be moldy, things won't be clean. It's just all these little tiny things, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a cultural thing. I don't know. I don't know what it is. And it's, I'm the type of personality where I just notice it. And obviously, as a consumer here in Southeast Asia, I'm constantly paying attention to it and just comparing. And to be honest, I mean, I love a good deal. Who doesn't, right? That's part of the appeal for me for Asia. You get a lot of good deals here. And Malaysia is definitely a place where you get a ton of good deals. So yeah, the roads here are really nice. They take care of them, they maintain them very well. Less poverty here overall. There's obviously some very, like, you know, rundown areas in some spots, but I mean, here's a perfect example. Look at this. They have this so nicely maintained. They got all these cool trees around, planted. Now, granted, this is a nice neighborhood, I think, but still, I mean, this is the point. I mean, we're still in Southeast Asia, you know. I know a lot, from what I was reading, a big part of how strong the economy is here is because of, like, it's a big export economy here. I know they do a lot of furniture, clothing, electronics, so that's a major thing here. But I just don't know if it's just because I think Malaysia's also stayed out of wars over the years a lot, but also maybe they just simply, the government was better managed. Having traveled around most of Southeast Asia and seeing here is just, it's really like night and day. I mean, it's insane at times, you know. There's definitely less people here too. I've noticed that, so maybe that has something to do with it, in the sense of you have a different sense. You have a real sense of kind of a Western culture, at least America. My comparison's to America, and you know, it's kind of comfortable in that sense. You know, even though, like, for instance, I'm driving, I'm on the right side of the car, it's opposite streets, right? I'm on the left side now. In America, it's all reversed. So that's a little bit of an adjustment, but even so, it's fairly easy to drive in traffic here. And you know, driving in the Philippines is a lot harder, it's a lot more congestion. I think another big part of it too is the heavy Muslim influence here. I think any country that has such influence like that, I think they just maintain better, you know? They're just on a daily, their blueprint for living is a lot more crisp and outlined, you know? And I think that probably has a lot to do with it, in my opinion, I would guess. You know, even like on the radio, it seems like at a certain time, 6 or 7 p.m., all the radio stations are playing like the Muslim prayer and stuff, you know? And that kind of groundedness, I've said in the past, is vital for humans, you know? Currently, like I try to stay connected to some kind of higher power. And you know, I'm in a program where that's the whole purpose. I'm supposed to. My secret to success in life, just to be happy and fulfilled, is just to be in contact with the higher power as much as I possibly can, right? It's on my own will. Now, here in a culture like that, when they just put prayers on all the radio stations at 6, when everyone's just praying, they have prayer rooms in the apartment complex, they have prayer rooms in the malls. I mean, it's ingrained, and it makes it so much easier, you know? If food's sitting in front of you all day, you're eventually going to eat it, you know, or whatever's around you, you're going to partake in, kind of thing. And I think that brings a lot of efficiency, wholeness, and a lot of different good qualities to the country, in my opinion. So, and with that, we got to fill up this car. Another thing too is petrol is pretty cheap, but let me see the exact price right now.
6 liter?
Yeah, can I get it's 2 ringgit per 1 liter, right?
2
ringgit?
2 ringgit and 5 cents.
For 1 liter? Okay.
Means the balance goes to the fuel.
Yeah.
Okay. So should be 39 and 10 cents.
Okay, thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Number?
Oh, 6. Yeah, 6. So really familiar. I mean, even the gas stations, you know? Even the gas stations are like back home. You know, it's really similar. It's really similar. So 2 ringgit per liter. So 42 cents, and then it's about 4. We're dealing with $1.68 per gallon of gas here right now in Malaysia. So that's pretty ridiculous. It's about $4 to $6, $7 even, depending on where you live. Well, $3 to $7 depending on where you're living in the US right now. So I do know they do some crude oil here too, but my God, $1.70 for a gallon of gas right now? The scooters like this guy, you can put 2, 3, you can basically fill that thing up. It's probably less than a gallon it holds. It might hold a gallon in its tank. So he's filling up his bike for $1.70. It's got to be a big part of the economy here. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have a full tank. For 5 gallons, it was $8 US for 5 gallons. And then these smaller cars like this one filled up the tank on that. Filled the tank in her. I mean, man, that's insane. And come to find out, just looked online, and Malaysia has, oh, is it that way? Malaysia has one of the cheapest gases in the whole world right now. I didn't know that. So, I mean, man, that's crazy. That's got to be a huge driver of the economy here. It's got to be. So, all in all, I mean, the point of this, me talking about this, is just kind of to show my love for Malaysia, you know, as I've been spending time here. And even in my older videos, I've been a big fan ever since I first came to Malaysia. I mean, I've really enjoyed it. I really have. Because of how developed it is, the cost of living, it's pretty fairly relaxed, quiet here compared to a lot of the other Southeast Asian countries, certainly with the larger cities that I have been to. And there's just kind of a general peace here, you know? It's just really, things run smooth here, and you know, it's nice, it's refreshing to come and see this, you know, after living in Asia. I'm pretty curious to see the future of Malaysia, how it's gonna turn out. I think something too that kind of keeps Malaysia, definitely Kuala Lumpur, a hidden gem in general, I think is because of its strong Muslim ties. You know, I think even though everyone's totally open and relaxed, especially for certain Western countries, it's a lot of Catholic, Christian-based countries, so it's just less familiar. People don't like it as much because of the strong Muslim influence. It's just different, and I think maybe that's partly why. That could be some of it. I think it's changing, by the way, too, because Singapore, which is just a 4-hour bus ride south, is quickly becoming one of the most expensive cities in the world. Although, by the way, real quick, there's still a real affordability there too. It's still with some food and things like that. But as far as the housing is insane in Singapore. So people are, you know, flooding over here, essentially making American wages in Singapore. You could come live in Kuala Lumpur, 4 hours away, similar city, and you know, you pay for like a quarter of the price of cost of living here as you would in Singapore. You know, maybe in some instances even less. I think over the next 5 to 10 years, Kuala Lumpur will get a lot more flooded, especially with investment, with housing. But some things I do love about it here is the variety of food. The cost of food is very inexpensive. The coffee and the teas, I'm a huge lover of those different kinds of coffee and tea drinks. The durian, the scenery is beautiful here. The development in the roads, I mean, just kind of everything is what I've enjoyed about it here. So I just wanted to kind of give my opinions on it for me personally. And you know, I've really enjoyed my time in Malaysia. You know, I'm not sure when I'll come back, but definitely a place I'll always recommend. It's Southeast Asia goes, I think, the top, if not one of the top. And different, you know, there's pros and cons. So anyways, let me know what you think of, if you've been here before. What do you think about the development in Malaysia versus other parts of Southeast Asia, what the influences are? Because I'm curious, I'm genuinely curious. It's something that's kind of fascinating to me. But hope you enjoyed. As always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.